In this episode of the Great American Cruise-In, I found a super modified Chevy Corvette that is turning heads at this Dover Rod Run car show. I caught up with owner Brian Gilbert, who shared the story behind the modifications he's made to transform a rescue car into a high-performance machine that dominates the road. Let's talk about the car that you brought here to the Dover Rod Run today.
Well, it's an 80 Corvette, and it was kind of a rescue purchase. So, you take it home and you take it all apart and put it back together. And it's a driver. It sees about 10,000 miles a year. Drivetrain-wise, mostly stock, other than gear ratios and, coilovers, things like that. Motor-wise, 383 stroker, about 550 horse. Still has AC, power, everything. Drive it anywhere. The body, fiberglass, over the years, it's wavy, it gets rough, so it took quite a bit of time.
Is there anything special about that engine that you could share with us?
It's just hand-built home in the garage. 383 strokers, pretty popular. They make a lot of power. They're pretty maintenance-free.
What was your inspiration for getting this particular Corvette?
Well, growing up, you drive a little bit of everything, So, honestly, I was out looking for a 72 when I ran across this one, and I just couldn't resist. So
you did an online search looking specifically for a Corvette of this year?
Well, I was just looking for a Corvette in a range of years. Like I said, buying an 80 was not my first choice. I was looking for something older. But when you get to the older ones, there's either nothing left of them or they're already done.
Let's talk about the restoration and modifications that you've done on the exterior. Was there any body work that you had to do for this car?
Yeah, just everything that you can see.
So what kind of shape was the body in when you acquired it?
The body was in pretty good shape, other than some holes drilled here and there, but no accidents or anything like that.
So did you sand this thing down to bare fiberglass, or how did you actually approach the modification and restoration?
Well, we sanded it back down to not the fiberglass, but down pretty close to the original color. So about 10 coats in.
Oh boy, that's a lot of coats of paint. Let's talk about the interior. What did the interior look like, and what have you done to restore it?
Really, I haven't done much to the interior. It was in pretty good shape. Other than the electrical, ripping it out and changing all the gauges, and the shifters and things like that. It's about, interior-wise, it's about like it was when I got it.
So what is the interior? Are we looking at leather, vinyl?
It's vinyl.
So it's a pretty much stock interior for what came off the assembly line with this car.
Yeah, there's been no upgrades to the interior. That's the way it came.
Okay, and let's talk about the engine, power plant, drivetrain. What kind of restoration modification did you do with this when you got the car?
Well, the motor that was in it, once I got it, it did still run, because it's a work in progress, like most of them. I drove the original motor for almost a year before it started knocking. And then I was building this one in the meantime. So when it finally started knocking, I pulled it out and sold it to somebody, and they were happy to have it.
When you acquired it, what did you pay for it? What do you think you've put into this car? And most importantly, what do you think its street value is right now if you were going to sell this?
Well, I paid a little under $5,000 for it. I put about $20,000 in it. The most you would ever get out of this car right now is somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000.
Okay, so you did this for the love of restoring the car because you wanted the Corvette.
Yeah, so when I got to the point to where obviously I'm going to exceed what I could sell it for, then it was a choice. Do I keep going and keep it or let it go? So I decided to keep it.
What were some of your greatest challenges in the restoration of this Corvette?
That's a good question. We do a lot of wrenching. Keeping the motor cool was probably the biggest challenge I've came across.
And why was that a challenge? I've never heard that.
Well, it's a bottom feeder, and then a 383 stroker is notorious for making a lot of heat. So I went through several different fan setups and a handful of radiators, and ended up going with DeWitt's and had a custom radiator built, and temperature problems are solved for the most part.
So you've brought this beautiful car to the Dover Rod Run here in Dover, Florida. What does this car mean to you?
Hobby. And I enjoy it. My wife and I take it everywhere, and that's how it sees so many miles over the years. Compared to a lot of them, they don't get out much.
Is it more fun to restore, or is it more fun to own and drive the car?
I have a better time restoring them. Driving is fun, don't get me wrong, but we do a lot of wrenching. I enjoy it.
Do you get a lot of looks with this car when you're driving it through cities and cruise-ins?
I do. I mean, you've seen the modifications exterior-wise. You know, it doesn't take a lot to set them apart from everything else. And everybody loves the Corvette, so it always attracts attention.
And there's no doubt about that. It's a beautiful Corvette. Last question. For somebody that wants to get into the game of owning, restoring, or modifying a car, what's your advice to that person?
Buy one you like. It all starts there. You know, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of patience. And if you got a car in your garage that you're not real fond of, it won't get done.
Well, that's good advice. Thank you so much for your time. If you would like to learn more about this car, check out our YouTube channel and follow us on social media, where we post the best of the best from car shows and cruise-ins each week. Just follow the social media links on our website at greatamericancruisein.com. And if you want to show off your amazing classic car on our website, send us an email with pictures and all of the juicy details. See the footer section of our homepage for more information. I want to thank you for spending your time with me, and I look forward to sharing another amazing classic car story on the Great American Cruise-In.